Well, Safuu fam, what a weekend that was. I mean, it was incredible, mind-blowing. He's only gone and done it again, right? You must agree, right? I mean, incredible. Novak Djokovic has won again at Wimbledon. I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Oh, you thought I was talking about Brian Legend and the launch of the light paper for SafuuX? Well, of course I was. Of course I was, because yes, that was the centre of any Safuu fan weekend. It was all going on Saturday when Brian Legend gave a live stream and the light paper was unleashed to us. So this video is obviously about that, but I'm not going to give you a technical analysis of how it's all going to work. I've said before, not my forte, and other YouTubers do that much better than I could ever do. Now, what I'm going to talk about are two things actually in this video. The first thing is actually just analysing a little bit the very wide range of reactions to that launch. And I think, you know, if you were in Discord at all on Saturday, you will have seen an absolute plethora of different reactions. And I guess what I'm going to talk about in this video is, if you're feeling a bit confused, a bit lost, don't know where to turn, unsure, then actually I'm going to give you a really simple 3-step plan just to help steady yourself, center yourself, so that you're in the best shape going forward to make the important decisions that we have to make around Safuu and SafuuX. That's the first part of the video. The second part of the video, I'm going to dive into my 3 wallets, and I've done some number crunching on projections. And let me tell you, it's worth you sticking around. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Living life every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah.
Welcome, dearest friend. Take a seat and just rest for a few minutes with me. Today, my tipple is the sublime, calming lemon, ginger and manuka honey tea. And let me tell you, it's working. I also have today a special little contribution, little candle. Now, let me tell you, talking to guys and gals here, if you have not welcomed candles into your life, do you even have a life? Just putting that out there. I also have today some very special music for you. It's a little piece of classical music actually by Grieg, and here we go. Little known fact, I trained as a classical musician in a past life, so this is very, very special. As always, my friend, I will say at this point, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research. And today I'm going to add an extra little caveat. I am not a psychologist or a therapist. This is merely me giving you some of my life advice. So, the launch of the light paper on Saturday obviously flagged the beginning of our move from Safuu to SafuuX. But from a different perspective, it also signalled the beginning of what is a major change project that we are experiencing. And if you are involved in any kind of project work or in any kind of organisation where you've been responsible for leading a change project, you will know how challenging it is. And in my professional life, I've probably led about 8 major change projects. For me, that was major restructurings of teams that involved making posts redundant and things like that. But it kind of doesn't matter what the project is, because how we react to a project, whether it's crypto, whether it's in an organisation, often follows the same pattern. And there are many, many models out there, business models that talk about this. And I'm just going to show you one of them. It's one that I've used in the past, and I like it because it very much talks about the emotion that people go through in this kind of circumstance. So here it is, and I just think it's important for us to see this because it makes us realise that we are all individuals, and actually we all experience things very, very differently. Depending on your expertise, your experience, your beliefs and values, you will experience a change project and this project differently than everybody else who's going through it. So you'll see here there are 5 emotions. I think in reality there's a lot more, but these are just representative. So you have at the beginning shock, and I've added the bits in italics in red. So as an example of what you might be seeing if you're going through this phase. So, you might say, what? I didn't think it was going to be like that. What is going on? Stop. So that's shock. Anger. Why is Brian doing this? It's just ridiculous. I mean, I love Safuu. Why is it changing? You might go through then rejection. Well, yeah, but it's just not going to work for me. I'm not going to be as well off as I was in Safuu. I'm going to lose out. Then you will go through an acceptance phase. I can see how this is going to work, but I think I have some questions. I can't quite see how it's going to work for me, so I just need to understand a little more. And then finally is hope. And this is where you will have people saying, oh yeah, let's go right now. I can't wait until September or August, whatever it is. I want it now. This is amazing. Absolutely to the moon right away. And these people are totally accepting from the very presentation of the project. And I think, if you look into Discord and the discussions that have happened since Saturday, since the launch, I think we see all of those reactions and actually many, many more. And it just shows that we are all at different stages. And I think, if you are at the kind of the shock and the anger stage and the rejection stage, and you look at the people that are accepting and have got every bit of hope in the project, that makes you feel even worse in some ways. But also, if you're at the other end and if you're totally already accepting and you're just looking towards the future, you've got no questions, you're absolutely rock solid on this, then you also have to understand that actually not everybody is in that boat, and they are going to ask questions and they are going to throw out their worries and their concerns. And as a result, we just get this huge, massive mixed bag of emotions. And I think that in itself can really affect the whole community. And just to add that you don't necessarily have to go through all of the stages. But sometimes also you might come in with shock or anger and not being able to get over that. And, in this case, it might end up in your exit from the project because you literally can't see a future. Or you may jump from, or you may start anger and then jump straight to acceptance or hope. So it's a kind of a fluid model, as it were. And if I think about myself and how I've experienced the last few days, I would say that I came in at acceptance. I can see the bigger picture. I can absolutely appreciate what Brian is doing here, and actually I do believe it's going to be historical, and the start of something new, and it's going to change the industry. But I have questions. I still have some questions, but I'm working those out, and I can feel myself moving from acceptance towards hope. But in many ways, I'm conscious of that, and I am moving myself along because I know I need to work on this. I'm not going to just naturally move from acceptance to hope. So this is where we come to my little 3-step plan, which is what I have used. This isn't just a plan for this Safuu project, moving to SafuuX. This is really when you need to center yourself again, when you feel just discombobulated. Great word. Discombobulated, you can't see the wood for the trees. You just need to take a breath, and you need to use these 3 very simple steps that I'm going to give to you right now. Step number 1 is regroup. You need to regroup the fundamentals of why you are in this project. So we're not talking now about the blockchain, the move to SafuuX. We are talking about why did you get into Safuu in the very first place? And what you need to do here is boil this down to no more than 3 reasons. They're absolutely fundamental and central to why you're in this project. And they need to be short, snappy, that you can just recall very, very easily. So I'm going to give you mine. I have 2 reasons. My first reason is because I want to gain life-changing wealth. That simple. The second reason, I am in Safuu because I trust Brian Legend. I trust Brian Legend. Those are my 2. And the reason why we need to regroup and go back to those fundamentals is because they now give you that absolute foundation on all of your future decision making. And especially when you're in a project like this and you might be in a bit of a flap and you don't know where to turn, to have those fundamentals to fall back on, to fill in some gaps, to test against, is absolutely critical, I would say. Absolutely critical. So that's your first step. So on to step number 2, which is research. Now, one of our very favourite phrases in crypto is, of course, do your own research. And if you were going into a new project, you would do everything you can to find out about that project, right? Well, this is no different. And in many respects, my advice is to treat SafuuX as a brand new project. And in many respects also, this is easy when compared to other projects because the research has already been presented to you. It's there, you know where it is. You don't have to go looking for it. And I would also say that as an investor, it is your responsibility to do this research. You cannot rely on others within the community to give you all of the answers. So I am advising you, even if you've looked at the light paper and you were present when the live stream was being presented on Saturday by Brian, I would advise you to go back to it. You find yourself some time in the day, take yourself away and invest your time into doing this research. Revisit the light paper, read it again slowly, go back to the presentation, watch it again. Go to the pinned messages within Discord. There's been a lot of extra advice put up there and clarification being given by Brian and others in the pinned messages of the main chat. Also go to the new website. There are some FAQs up there. And you know, your questions that you might have might well be answered there. So do your own research. It sounds obvious, but it's very clear, I think, to myself and others, certainly within the Discord, that not everybody has done that. And I think quite often those people that are in the shock or the anger phase, they've just dived into Discord and said, well, how's this going to work? Blah, 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 blah. Take a breath and go back, do your own research, and then come with your questions. So on to the final step, step number 3, which is rehearse. Rehearse is where you work out what all this means for you. You are rehearsing with all the information that you have, what it means for you. So you need to take yourself away, again, somewhere quiet, with a calculator, with your wallets, and you need to plug it all together and you need to understand ultimately what it means for you. I did this yesterday. Here's the proof. Gorgeous sunny day, so I took myself off to a park and I crunched some numbers. I also looked at alternatives. I know there's a lot of discussion about, well, I want to stay in Safuu and you know, I want that amazing APY until March. Well, I looked at those numbers as well. So you need to number crunch on all of the different alternatives that you could possibly follow. Some of it we have to make assumptions at the moment because we don't have all the facts. We know more is coming later this week and later this month. So you need to be patient in some of this, but you have a lot to go on. So please rehearse, look at what it means to you and project where you might be, depending on which path you follow, where you might be at Christmas time, on the 1st of March, in 9 months time after the project starts. Really important. And only then, when you fully understand, because you've got your principles, you've done your research and you've rehearsed, only then should you really be forming those critical questions that you're putting to the community and actually then making your informed decision in terms of where this will take you. So that leads us beautifully onto the second part of the video, because I want to now share with you actually my rehearsal. I want to share with you the numbers that I crunched. And what I'm going to do really as briefly as I can is to take you through each of my 3 wallets. You'll be familiar with them if you've seen my previous videos. I'm going to take you through each one, talk through what I think it means to me. Critically, as you'll also know from previous videos, I am one of the community members that does take a passive income. And I think there's lots of, again, discussion in Discord. If you are taking passive income at the moment, what is this lockup period going to mean? Your coins, your SafuuX are going to be hidden away from you. You won't be able to get at them. How am I going to survive? How am I going to take passive income? I do take passive income at the moment, so I've done some thinking about that as well. And I'm going to share my thoughts with you on all of that. So let's get into wallet number 1. Right, so for all of these wallet calculations, I've had to make some assumptions. I have assumed a price for Safuu at the time of sacrifice of $21, but of course we literally have no idea what the price of Safuu will be when each of us sacrifices our Safuu. I've also gone with the $6 as the price of SafuuX, which is what was given by Brian in the live stream, but he did say that that's just a finger in the wind at the moment in effect, and that might change. However, those are the assumptions I'm working on. So wallet number 1, today I currently have 68 Safuu. Now what you might not know is that yesterday, Sunday, Brian announced that he was pushing back the sacrifice period until the 1st of September. And that is making a humongous difference in our ability to compound even more before we potentially sacrifice our Safuu tokens for SafuuX coins. It's huge and I think it's incredible. So I will be compounding until the 1st of September and I will have approximately 220 tokens, Safuu tokens, ready for sacrifice if that's what I decide to do. If you see the grayed out columns, this is where I've kind of taken an alternative potential path and remained in Safuu. So if I don't sacrifice my Safuu tokens for SafuuX coins on the 1st of September, if I continue to compound my Safuu tokens for another 28 days, then I will end up with the figure there, which is 414. Now, what I haven't tried to do is then try to work out what happens if I then sacrifice my my tokens for SafuuX coins. And I haven't done that because for me, there's too many unknowns at this point. I know that Brian is working out at the moment what the kind of scale in terms of what sacrifice will mean in when you take it. So we know that if you sacrifice on the first day, you're going to get 50% additional SafuuX tokens plus another 15%. But that will be on a descending scale as you go through that sacrifice period. I just don't know what it's going to look like. But so if I then sacrifice those 414 Safuu tokens for SafuuX at the end of September, I just don't know what it will be. And I think that's a further calculation when we get that information. So moving on to the next column, the sacrifice for SafuuX on the 1st of September. So if I throw my 220 Safuu tokens in for sacrifice on the sacrifice pyre on the 1st of September, I will receive approximately, again, the assumptions that I've made in terms of price, I will receive approximately 1,270 SafuuX tokens. And I've put my little calculation here so that if you want to work out your the kind of conversion for yourselves, then you can. Now again, the next column is greyed out because it relates to the alternative path of what would happen if I stayed in Safuu for the whole time until the end of the incredible APY that we currently have. And we know that that will come to the end at the end of February, beginning of March. So I've added the figure here. What if I kept my current 68 Safuu in this wallet until the 1st of March? I'm looking there at approximately 13,000 Safuu tokens. I think what's really interesting then is going on to the next column, I have plotted what SafuuX will look like for me in this wallet. And to kind of make it even, I've looked at it on the 1st of March and I've looked at it at the end of the 9-month period of 2.09%, which is what we're being offered. So this is, to be clear, this is the APY that will start from the beginning of testnet right through to for the following 9 months, so 270 days. So if I checked in on the 1st of March, if I don't touch these coins, I will have approximately 30,703 coins. If I let it run its full duration to the end of that 9-month period, I will have a staggering 338,272 SafuuX coins. So moving on to wallet 2, I will go through this a lot quicker now that I've kind of explained what the columns mean. Wallet 2, I currently have 29 Safuu. Obviously there, if I compound, when I compound now to the end of August, that will turn into 94. I'm just going to jump through, I won't go through the Safuu. If I stayed in Safuu, you can see the figures there. But the sacrifice for SafuuX on the 1st of September will give me approximately 543 SafuuX coins. If I then leave it in there and let it run its course, I'm looking on the 1st of March, just to give that direct example with Safuu in the previous column, I'm looking at approximately, again, just over 13,000 SafuuX tokens. And then if I let it run its course till the end, till in June, 25th of June, I'm looking at 144,636 SafuuX coins. Okay, moving on to my final wallet, which is the biggie, for me anyway. So again, I'll whip through this. Today I have 1,252 Safuu tokens. But also, of course, my wallet 3 is where I take currently passive income. And of course, as I already said, we know that we won't be able to access our SafuuX coins during that lockup period. So this is my thinking in terms of how I will deal with these circumstances. So what I intend to do is to take my passive income at the very end of July, the normal, the one that I'd already scheduled of 275 Safuu tokens. But then what I intend to do before I go into the sacrifice period, I'm going to release or take up to 1,000 Safuu tokens. And what I'm going to use those tokens for is, hopefully if I am successful, to buy at least one light node, but also then to use the rest of that bag of Safuu for the income that I will need to cover the lockup period. So I'm talking about the months from September through to the end of December. Obviously it all depends on the Safuu price, but I'm hoping that up to 1,000 Safuu tokens will give me the purchasing power for the node or the nodes, but also income that I'll require during that period. I'm hoping that I'll need a lot less token, because I'm hoping that obviously the price of Safuu, we're hoping, will go up. And obviously the higher it goes, the less tokens I will have to take. But I'm budgeting for about 1,000 tokens being taken out of my bag of Safuu tokens to cover my needs during that time. So I've then plugged that in to my little calculation, and I have reckoned that my transfer of what will actually be 2,487 Safuu tokens into the sacrifice pyre on the 1st of September will result in approximately 14,362 Safuu coins. Now, tracking that through, as I have with the other wallets, that will result in approximately, on the 1st of March, 106,803 SafuuX coins. Obviously, what I haven't plugged in here is what I will take in passive income between September and June, but that all gets far too complicated at this stage. If I did leave that bag there, then I would be looking at over 3 million and actually almost 4 million Safuu coins. So in conclusion, from my little rehearsal that I've just done, bearing in mind that, you know, I have plugged into all these calculations the fact that I do need to cover myself with at least some income between September and December, and that I would like to buy some light nodes, one at least, I hope, fingers crossed with a fair wind. I am still going to be left at the end, well, in June, towards the end of June, if I don't touch those bags of tokens, and maybe my light nodes will give me a little bit of income, who knows, I will be left with approximately, are you ready for this? You're not ready. 4,308,334 SafuuX tokens. No, SafuuX coins. Coins! They're coins. I mean, if that doesn't blow your mind, that blew my mind. And it was at that point when I got that figure that it absolutely has moved me. Go back to our original emotion diagram. I'm there. I'm going to the moon with all of you if you see what I see. I just implore you, plug in your figures. I appreciate, you know, my wallet 3 is quite hefty. It's not massive, but I do have a lot of tokens in there. But I think if you haven't done this exercise already, you will be, technical term, gobsmacked by the potential of moving to SafuuX. And if you also do what I do and work out, as I'm sure you have anyway, work out what it would look like if you stayed in Safuu. Now, again, we don't know what's going to happen to Safuu in terms of long-term token price, but do it making assumptions and compare the two. And I honestly believe you will not have any questions left in terms of what should I do. This is not financial advice. Please just do it for yourself. Rehearse your numbers. So in answer to the question posed in this video, should I stay or should I go? I'm going. I'm already gone. The question is, are you going to be there with me? Well, we're not going to answer this question right now. So I am going to bid you farewell. Have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. But in the meantime, I will just say cheers. See you in the next video.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days.